My mid-40s, I'm divorced.
I have 2 kids that are almost out of the house, and I'm on my 2nd career.
Maybe, like me, you are looking for the best new place to hang out with friends. Maybe you're looking for financial advice. So am I.
But I have a secret for you. LA is one of the best places to reinvent yourself.
From the beach to downtown in the mountains and everything in between.
Parenting advice? You can come to me. Dating advice? I'm doing a lot of that in this city. So join me. I'm Marissa as we traverse this incredible city and intentionally rediscover and create Life 2.0. Good morning, good morning. It is a beautiful, no, not. I wish I could say it was beautiful because it's spring here in Los Angeles, but it is pouring again. I am Marissa. Welcome to Life 2.0. We are live. It is Tuesday morning. Is it March 20th? Or 21st. I believe it's the 21st. Yeah, Tuesday, March 21st. We're coming to you live from Brentwood, California in rainy Southern California, but that's okay. We're going with it. I actually wore a springy-ish top because I'm trying to channel the spring weather and bring the sun. Apparently we have another day of this storm and then it looks like we have sun in the forecast, but you know, who knows, because LA is now the land of the rain, which is good. We need the rain, so I'm happy that we have the rain. So welcome to Life 2.0. I am here. I am so happy that you're joining me. I'm thrilled that I get to give you updates today. I have a guest on my show. So, okay, we have a big show. So I'm going to do an update on the dating project as I always do, my life as I always do. I get to share we're going to do a beauty segment, something that I went through and wanted to explore and experience myself. And now I've had great results and I want to talk about it on the show because, as you know, I will only promote something that I have tried and loved and really genuinely believe in myself. I am not to be bought, not for hire. So it's something that I love that I want to share with you. And then I have Ari Igwe-Buke, who is coming on the show. She herself is a former collegiate athlete and softball player, and she is now as well married to Godwin Igwe-Buke, who plays for the Seattle Seahawks. I'm very excited to have her on my show today. She ran in the LA Marathon this week, and she just decided that she wanted to do it, and she trained. She was not a runner. She just woke up one morning and was like, I'm going to do a half marathon. And then she trained for a marathon and she did it this week. And it's crazy. I actually met her yesterday and I just said to her, I need to have you come on my show tomorrow. And so she's going to be here with us, hopefully. Hopefully the rain is not going to hold her up. We'll see. Not in the studio yet, but hopefully she'll be here soon. And then Andy will be coming back on, and we'll be doing a financial segment. And yeah, so it's kind of like a packed show. I'm really excited for it. So here we go. Ready for it? Okay. Are we starting with the beauty segment, or should we start? Okay, we're going to start with the beauty segment. So for those of you who do not know, I have a skin condition called melasma. It's very common. It tends to usually be genetic, or it can also be it can be brought on by things like extra hormones in your body. And I went through years of fertility, and so fertility stuff, which at some point I'm sure I'll discuss on the show. But a sneak preview of that is 6 pregnancies, 2 children. So there you go. So years of hormones going up and down. And as a result, I have a skin condition called melasma. And what it is it's like hyperpigmentation. And in my face, like I was getting very discolored at a pretty young age. And so I have, over the years, I have tried different things. You know, I have an incredible skincare team. I go to Brilliance Dermatology out in Calabasas. I've worked with Dr. Hal Weitzbuck and Emily Kraft, the nurse practitioner, for years. I think that they are wonderful. They've really supported me through kind of this journey, and we've done a lot of different things. And it started, you know, my children are older, so clearly my pregnancy days are behind me. So this is something that I've kind of been going through and dealing with. And so I started by trying creams, and that's usually, you know, where the dermatology practices will start you. And I tried the Retin-A creams and the hydroquinone creams, and they really did not make much of a difference. You know, minimal, very minimal. But it also probably didn't help that I was still going out in the sun, and I've always been really good about sunscreen, but you know, you can always be better. I believe in general in life, you can always do better than whatever you're doing, you can always step it up. So anyways, I, about 2 years ago now, I believe it was about 2 years ago, I tried microneedling with PRP. That is called, for those of you who are aware, that's called like the blood facial or the vampire facial. Like I should have given producer Andy, I should have given you pictures so you could have seen. When I came out of that, literally like I was like bloody and splotchy, because they actually, what they do is they take blood from you, they put it in the, I don't know what it's called. Transfusion, they swirl it up, they take out certain parts of the blood, and then in the microneedling, you know, they use this process on your face, and they put the PRP, which comes from the blood that they've taken from your body, they put it back into your face, and it's supposed to stimulate collagen growth and, you know, help with, you know, new cell growth and all this stuff. Okay, so I did actually get a pretty good response to the microneedling. I have to say it was a good treatment, but it was very expensive. You had to go you had to commit to 3 to 5 times. I only did 3 because it was so expensive. Potentially if I had done more, maybe I would have seen an even greater response. And the downtime with each of those treatments was anywhere from like 3 to 5 days. So, but like legitimately did not go out of my house for like probably a solid 2 to 3 days, and then it got a little better. It was interesting with the microneedling and the PRP. I didn't have crazy amounts of peeling. That wasn't what happened on the other side of the treatment. It was very red and raw, and I remember feeling very sunburnt and just raw. I remember feeling tight and raw. Okay, so this year, so it's been a couple years, and the melasma, it hasn't really gotten worse. It's basically been stagnant, but from where it was after the microneedling, but I really really wanted to try something again. And I went back in with the intention of doing the microneedling, and Emily said, we have something new. There's something new that people are using, and it is the gold standard for treating melasma. And it is, drum roll, da, 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 what did I do? Oh, and I did a Cosmelan treatment. So I was really hesitant to do this. Are we gonna get B-roll in the back while I'm talking about it? I have the, oh right, I have the B-roll, right? I have this today, so I'm learning how to be a semi-co-producer. So let's see, let's pull it up. So here we go. Okay, so while you watch my B-roll of what happened, so I go in, this is Emily Kraft, she's the nurse practitioner, she does all of my treatments whenever I go in there, and she also has now started doing my complete body checks. She's amazing. So in the office, Cosmelan is actually really simple. It's really simple that you go in, they clean your face off. I actually came from the studio, so I had makeup on, but she cleaned my face, and then she did something called a degreaser, which was just really more cleaning my face. And then you can see right now she's putting like some Vaseline type of ointment around on my lips and underneath my nose and the creases of my eyes, because she said that the actual treatment is very drying. I had no idea what she meant by that, but holy moly, we'll get to that in a minute. And then she just smeared, so this, like the microneedling and PRP is called the blood facial. This is called the mud facial, mud, M-U-D. Some people, although Emily and I were joking, it also could be called the shit facial, because it also looks like there's like, you know, mud or poop. We're gonna go with mud all over your face. And she literally just put it all over, and you know, she was talking me through it. It felt like nothing. It literally just felt like I was having a mask put on my face. There was literally no tingling, no pain, nothing. Again, like with the microneedling and the PRP, I had to anesthetize my face with a anesthetizing cream for 45 minutes. Before, with this, I literally did nothing. I went in, you can see. And then now the thing about Cosmelan, they put it on in the office, and then you have to wear it home. Okay, so that was actually what happened. And then I went home, and you have to wear it for 6 to 8 hours. And obviously, you know, if they say 6 to 8 hours, for me, I'm gonna wear it 8 hours, because that means that I'm just gonna get the maximum that I can out of it. So I wore it for 8 hours. So this was actually, welcome, hi, it's so good to have you. Ari's in the studio, people. Okay, so woohoo, she'll be joining me soon. So this was me in the car. This was me driving home with Cosmelan in the car. And then, let's see, and then I'm gonna show you a few more pictures. So I wore that at home for 8 hours. And I will say, after about an hour, I started to really feel the tingling and the drying, but it still did not really feel like anything more than a pretty tight mask. So I will show you when this is immediately when I took it off of my face. This is what it looked like. It was, you can see it's red, and you can see that I'm getting swollen, and there's obviously no makeup on my face. And then, let's see, then we're gonna go, this was like a couple hours later, and you can see that I'm getting even more swollen and more red. Really, like, can't believe I'm showing all of this on camera, but that's the whole point for these beauty segments, to show you everything. And then, so this is, what I did is I documented, and every day I took a picture for 7 days. I took a picture straight forward of each side of my face and of my chin. And the reason why I did my chin was because I wanted to show the peeling effect, but I also really wanted to show the how swollen I got and how red I got. So you're like this, I look at this now and I can't even believe, let's see, you can see how red I got there, because underneath my, you know, like you can see the normal color of my skin, and you can see how red I got from the treatment. And I was red like that, I would say, for the first like 3 to 4 days, and then the redness started to go away, but I was also really, really swollen. It's hard to tell in the pictures that I have how swollen I was, but and then after you go home and like on day 2, you start an at-home regimen. And so this was me showing this was day 2. You can see how swollen I am here. It's hard to tell, but I can really tell, like in my forehead, you can see how swollen I am above the eyebrows and underneath my eyes, and like in my T-zone area, how swollen I am. But the redness was starting to go away a little bit. So then with Cosmelan, you take it off, and then there is an at-home regimen that you have to stick to for a month. And it is a 3-product regimen. That's the first one. That's the first product. And that is kind of, it almost is like a peel of some kind. And then there's a sunscreen. No, sorry. Then there's a moisturizer. And then the third one is a tinted sunscreen. And you have to do them, the 3 steps. You do morning, midday, or afternoon, so twice a day. And then at night, you do the first step and the second step, the moisturizer. And you have to stick to it. So there is definitely a level of commitment if you're going to take on and do this. And I will say I am now 2 weeks, almost exactly. Tomorrow will be 2 weeks post-procedure. I did not leave my home for 7 days because I was so red and I was so swollen and I was so peely. Actually, that's not true. It was one of my closest friends' birthdays 4 days after the treatment. So I bundled up and I covered up in a scarf and glasses and hat. It was raining, thank God. And I met her and took her to breakfast for her birthday around the corner from our house where we live, and like in between us. But literally, other than that, I did not leave my house because I was so peely. And here, I'll show you, like this is one example. This is light peeling. This was very light peeling. And you can also see how red I am here still, but this was very, very light peeling. And then there was, you can see, here's another picture of the peeling, and you can see kind of like there's heavier peeling on the side of my face there. So you can see it really comes off for, I would say I was peeling for like 7 to 8 full days. Even now, when I put on the first of the 3 products that I use, I'm still peeling and I still see little flakes. I've never done anything where 2 weeks later I'm still shedding skin. And I will say that for the first week, every time I did put anything on my skin, which, you know, of the 3 products, it burned and it hurt because your skin is raw and you've got really fresh new skin. It's only been, I think, like in the last 2 to 3 days where I'm putting stuff on and I'm okay. I was not able to wear makeup at all for the first week, which is fine because other than the show, I don't really wear a lot of makeup. But if you're someone who likes to go out and wear makeup, if you're doing Cosmelan, you're committing to a minimum of 7 and up to 10 to 14 days of downtime, depending on how you react to it. So you need to know that. Now, I will say what's crazy is I have all these pictures and I don't have a picture like from this morning pre-makeup, so I need to do like the total before and after. I see a massive difference. It is what? Show what? All the different pictures? Yeah. So you can see like there are lots of pictures I took. I mean, this is not even, this is probably a quarter of the pictures that I took throughout the last 2 weeks. But what's really crazy about this is, you know, 2 weeks in, 1 treatment, I really see a massive difference, even more than I saw with 3 treatments of microneedling. So far and away, this is amazing. Now, one thing that Emily did tell me was that people typically do this once a year. Some people do it twice a year. I could totally see myself wanting to do this again, but it's not for the week, you know, it definitely, like, my face, the first 4 days, it hurt. It was so raw. You know, it had been described to me as like, it's going to feel really sunburnt. This was like sunburn, like 10x. I don't even know how to describe it. It was very raw. It burned. It was tingly. It hurt. I was taking Advil, not a lot, but every once in a while I took, you know, 2 Advil just to kind of try to calm the swelling and just to take away the pain a little bit. And there was really nothing you can do. I did ice. I also used frozen peas and put those on my face for ice, and I think that helped. And I took some arnica. But other than that, there's really not a lot you can do. You just have to go through it. But I definitely stand by it. I think it's worth it. I would do it again. It is not an inexpensive treatment, okay? However, I will say one of these is less than 3 to 5 microneedling. So if you're comparing the 2 procedures, even though you're gonna pay more upfront for one Cosmelan treatment, you're gonna get a better outcome for less money for the overall other types of treatments. So Cosmelan, 10 out of 10. I loved it. It was definitely not the easiest thing to go through. It definitely, like, yeah, it was major downtime, but worth it. And I'm really happy with the outcome. And what I hear is that I'm not even at the full outcome. And I see that because every time I do the 3-step process, I am definitely peeling still. And so I do believe my skin is still shedding, and I will continue to see results. And I'm really excited about that. I'm being incredibly diligent about sunscreen, incredibly diligent about wearing a hat. You know, most of the time you will not see me outside without a hat on. And that's just the way it is, because if you're going to invest in your skin and do these kinds of things, you also have to take care of it. So.
The doctor who was, where they are, that kind of thing.
The what?
The doctor who they were, where they were.
Okay, so if you want to go and check out where I had this done, I had it done at Brilliance Dermatology in Calabasas. They also have an office out in Thousand Oaks, I believe, but I go to the Calabasas outpost. I was joking with Emily because I think I was like one of their original patients, like years and years ago. They've gotten super popular. Lots of people go to them. Hard to get in. But call them. You can tell them you know me. You can tell them you're going in for Cosmelan. It's a great treatment. Dr. Hal Weitzbach, Emily Kraft, the team there, I mean, they're just 2 people of an enormous team there. They're incredible. Everyone there is really friendly. They do everything from full body checks. You know, they're an incredible, just a dermatology suite of services. So everything from full body check and melanoma, all of that, to all of the other stuff that you would potentially want, like fillers and Botox and Cosmelan and microneedling and PRP and facials and all that fun stuff, which who knows, maybe I'll try some of the other stuff too. Haven't gotten there yet. Microneedling I've done there, Cosmelan now I've done there. They do my checks. I've had some things removed. We've done some other, you know, like health, medical related things there that I've had to have done over the years. But they're great. I love working with them. So Dr. Hal Weitzbach and Emily, thank you so much. You know, they say like beauty on the inside better than the outside, but when you feel good about yourself, your self-esteem, your self-confidence, it shoots up. So thank you. Mwah, mwah. Stay tuned. Up next, I have Ari Igwe-Buke on the show with me. Cannot wait to talk to her. See you in a minute.
So here is our Jackery. Unbox it. You want to get it charged up. You use this fantastic charger over here. This is the output over there, and it has an extra cable like this with the ability to charge it in your car. So that is really cool. So we have it all charged up. It has here, you can press on the display. You can see now that it is not drawing any power, it is not bringing in any power, and it is 99% charged, which is cool. So as you want to use all your separate things, you can turn on the little lights, and it will show you, as you can see there, that now you can draw power out of them, or you can turn them off, just like you would at home. If you want to leave something plugged in, but not having it draw power, there you can turn it off. So let's have some fun and see what our Jackery can fire up. So in the past, we have used the Jackery to light up our lives with Govee. We have charged our cell phones, and we have done a few other things. But we've even lit up the Aero Garden. How amazing is that we were able to light up the Aero Garden? But today we're going to push the Jackery to the limit, and we are going to take a look at the This Works. What's this? This Works car vacuum. Awesome, very cool. And we could even take a look at Tambi used it. And how amazing is this? Oh my goodness. You can just keep on going and going and going. You can get into every little nook and cranny in your car with all of this. How awesome. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to stick it into our Jackery. Let's do it this way so you guys can see what I'm doing. Turn it on. The little light and the display have gone on because we are about to fire this up. Thank you, Mr. Jackery. There we go. That is cool. So let's see what else we can fire up today. That is just so cool. You see, powerful vacuum, Jackery fired it up. Let's have a look at some of the other things that we can fire up today. Let's see. Here we go. So let's try the Levoit air purifier. This is a high power drawing item, I think. I would imagine so. It's not something that you would generally plug into this little power port here. Amazing. If this works, you know how incredible this must be. So not only is the Jackery used when you are camping or exploring the world in your RV or your car, the Jackery can also be your backup power source for a disaster. Disaster preparedness. The Jackery is definitely something that you'd want to have in your home. And God forbid there is something and the air is not pure, and now you're stuck in your home, you've got no power, you can't put your air purifiers on. If there's a huge amount of dust in the air, or if there's a big, like we are in California, there could be a huge earthquake, will bring up a lot of dust, but you obviously want to still keep your lungs protected. Let's see if the Jackery not only will give us power, but will also save lives. So plug it in over here. We'll turn it on. And you can see, let's actually put this up a little bit because you'll be able to see the lights. So let's put that, try and see if you can see that there. This all in the name of, okay, there we go. So the little light is on. We have the, did you see that? Okay, turn it on. Let's turn on the light so you guys can see. There we go.
Hello and welcome back. I am Marissa Gold, your host of Life 2.0 Live. We are here March 21st in Brentwood, California at Studio Place. Thank you for joining me. And I am joined by Ari Igwe-Buke. Thank you so much for being here. I'm so excited to have you. So I was saying before you came into the studio that I met you yesterday.
Yes.
And found out that you just decided to run the LA Marathon. I was like, you have to come on my show because I need to know more. But then I have since done just a tad bit of research, or really we'll call it like Instagram stalking, which is what passes for research these days. And I found out a little bit more about you, and I'm so excited that you're here to kind of share with me what you have done. I want to get to the LA Marathon because I am so curious what goes through the mind of someone who says, I want to do this. I'm just going to wakes up one morning and is like, I'm just going to run a marathon. And, we talked a tiny bit about it yesterday, but I want to kind of dive into that. But before we do that, so every time I have someone come on my show, the very first question I ask them is, when you were a young child or young-ish child, or even in your early teens, what did you think you would be doing as an adult?
Oh man, as an adult, I think I was just so focused on playing softball, which I'm sure we'll get into.
Yeah, we're going to get to in a minute,
Yeah, when I was a teen, I really wanted to just play collegiate softball.
Okay.
But it's funny, when I was little, I really wanted to be a fashion designer.
Okay, so see, everybody has something, right?
That never came to fruition.
It didn't come to fruition. Because you were focused on softball.
Yeah, so my priorities changed a little bit as I got older.
What happened that you were interested in fashion, though? Like, where did that come from?
I don't know. I think it was because I was really in love with Paris, France when I was little. And
Have you gone there?
I have not. I haven't
You've
been
still
yet.
never been?
I've still never been, but I will go at one point in my life. But I wanted to live in the French countryside and have a horse. I literally remember in class, writing out for an assignment, drawing my house in France and being a fashion designer. Yeah.
Do you still have that picture somewhere?
I don't.
I bet your parents do somewhere.
They might just somewhere deep in the basement or in the closet or something.
Hidden in a box somewhere. Not hidden, but tucked away in a box as a memory to give you one day to give to your child.
Yeah. We'll see. It'll pop up sometime.
Yeah, sometime. Okay, so then you became focused on softball.
Yes.
When did you start softball?
I started softball when I was 6 years old. So my sister first started playing softball, and it was kind of one of those things, little sister follows big sister's steps.
Yeah.
And then my sister, when she graduated high school, she went and played in community college, but then kind of stopped. So that was kind of my first moment of wait, I think I kind of want to keep going, So I kept going. I joined a competitive travel ball team, did the whole recruiting, and then eventually got signed to Cal State Fullerton. Tusks up. Yeah. Fullerton.
Shout out to Fullerton.
Yes, shout out to Fullerton. So.
What was it like being a collegiate athlete?
It was amazing.
Was it?
I met my lifelong friends there. Just getting to see the same girls every single day. They became family. My coach was just so great at creating a culture that made me want to show up every day, work as hard as I could, not just for myself, but for the girls around me.
The team, yeah.
And just to look back on 4 years of my life being dedicated to something that I loved it's just a memory. It's something I cherish so much, and has undoubtedly shaped who I will be for the rest of my life.
Oh, I'm sure. And shaped your entire college experience. Your college experience is through the lens of being a collegiate athlete.
Right.
Which is so unique and special, I think, because it is really there are so few people that have that experience. How do you think your experience differed from, let's say, the typical student at Fullerton?
I'd probably just say time management.
I was gonna say, that's kind of where I was going. Do you think you had to be that much more focused, that much more in tune, that much more trained, that much more than the average college? Were you allowed to go out and party?
You were allowed to, but I wouldn't say I was quite the partier in college. Not that I didn't have fun. I definitely had fun. Yeah. But there's certain things you have to wake up at weights at 6:30 in the morning.
And you have to be there, right? You can't call in sick or say sorry, I'm not coming in today.
Yeah, definitely can't do that. So I'd probably just say time management.
But it is like a job, right? It's like having a job while you're in college, which is so different than most, I think, college students who go to college, and it's more just this bridge into adulthood. And you actually, it was you took on a much more responsible role at a much younger age, which I think is part of why, like you said, it shapes you so much in who you become. Okay, so you graduate from Fullerton. Tusks, go Tusks. Is that it?
Yeah, Tusks up.
Tusks up, sorry.
Our mascot is an elephant, which is really interesting. It's
Why?
because they used to have elephant races on campus.
Seriously?
Yeah. So
the poor elephant.
I know. There's kind of probably some ethical.
I was gonna say for sure that
problems
would
with
never happen today.
Yeah, but they
I know.
turned it around and
lots of things happened before that would not happen today.
Yeah.
That's one of them. Okay, tasks up. Okay, so you graduate from Fullerton. What did you graduate? What was your degree in? I'm curious.
Business human resources.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So did you think that you wanted to go into, at some point, go into the business world, or were you just kind of like, this is a good backup plan? Like, what was the genesis of that, choosing that major?
Yeah. So Fullerton has a really good business program. It's like one of the best on the West Coast. So I was like, I want to take advantage of that. Business has always been something I'm interested in. It's broad, so I felt like I could kind of take my time and choose what I wanted to without like going on a super specific track from the beginning and feeling like I needed to stick to it.
Right.
So that was really the reason I chose business, and I don't know, it just kind of intrigued me. I always liked the idea of like being a businesswoman.
Yeah. Although being an entrepreneur is tough.
It definitely is, and it's crazy because I've never felt entrepreneurial.
Really?
I always felt better, more administratively or keeping track of things.
Okay.
I don't know.
Are you organized?
I'm a very organized person.
I feel like you are very organized.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I saw some pictures of your wedding and I was like, oh, I bet she's super organized. It was beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So you graduate from Cal State Fullerton, tusks up, I've learned. And then what's the next, what do you do next?
Yeah, so when I was about 3 or 4 months out from graduating, I was like, what do I want to do? I still want to play softball, but I'm not sure like how I'll get into it because the pro leagues are they're smaller, they're kind of hard to get into. I was at a mid-major. I'm like, okay, how am I going to do this? And then it just kind of dawned on me like, well, I love to travel. Like, why don't I try to go play overseas, So I looked into that and I found a team out in Denmark, which I never thought of like, oh, I want to go to Denmark to play softball.
Right? Like when you're growing up, that's definitely not something that you're thinking.
Definitely not.
I know.
But it was in Copenhagen, like the capital of Denmark.
So incredible.
I was looking at pictures, I was like, sold. I'm going. Yeah. Which my parents were like, okay, like sounds good. But I've always been a traveler, so they knew, that was kind of in my vein. But I went to play out in Denmark.
How long were you there for?
I was there for about 3 months.
Okay.
Yeah, post-graduation. Okay. So I went from...
And did you know anyone on that team?
No.
And was it a very international team? Is that how do they recruit from all over? Or?
Usually for my team, they only recruit like one international person. Usually it's a pitcher.
Oh, really? And what position do you play?
Fun fact, I played center field.
Okay.
In college.
Okay.
I did pitch in high school.
Okay.
But I was like, I think I could get away with pitching in Denmark. So I did. I pitched in Denmark. Yeah.
That's incredible. I love that. So they brought you in as the pitcher.
They did.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did you like when you were meeting all of those people, what was it like? Were they supportive of you coming onto the team? Were they integrative with you? How was it?
They were so nice.
They were.
Like, they were just super excited to have me, and I was super excited to have them. They were all Danish. All of them were Danish. So
blonde hair, blue-eyed.
Yeah, there's some brown hair too. But yeah, they were super nice and just a great atmosphere, great group to be around.
Yeah.
They love the thing about Denmark, and even just I think overseas in general.
And European.
Yeah, is there's not really an age limit to playing the game. So I played with girls that were like 30 years old, and I played with girls as young as 15, and that
is so cool.
It is, because we don't have anything like that out here, I guess, even in a recreational sense. But they're competitive and they're going after it and they're wanting to win their league. And so it was really cool because I felt like there was no limit to how long you could play out there.
Yeah, that's amazing because it is something I feel like in the United States, I feel like we have this thing called ageism, right? Mm-hmm. Where, and you see it so, you see it so much, especially in sports and in entertainment, but also in other fields, where you get kind of like pushed out of what you love, what you're passionate about because you age out of it. Absolutely. Right? So that's amazing that it's different there. It's funny when you started to say that about the culture being different, I thought you were going to go in a different direction because I think in general Europeans, they work hard, but they play hard, you know, and like there's a culture, I feel like, around really living life and really enjoying life. Right. And so I think even people who work really hard in whatever they're doing, there's a shift in their mentality towards work that's very different than the American mentality. Did you feel that when you were there?
Definitely. I mean, I felt like it was so, like, they really took leisure seriously, at least in Denmark. They really value like the work-life balance. There's not a lot of like car transportation, so a lot of biking and just being out in nature and going on walks, and everybody's just out on the street when the sun is out and stuff. So I really enjoyed that. At one point I was like, I want to live here. Like I want to live, I don't know how long, but I want to live here, because it was just so nice to kind of see that work-life balance a little bit more.
Oh, so when you saw that work-life balance, did it cause you to have any type of shift towards your own goals, dreams, desires for your own future? Did it change your perspective at all? Yeah,
it definitely did change my perspective. I think in Denmark, they're really big on like communal and having people over and being together, and that's something that I, like, after leaving there, I wanted to take with me. Like, I want to host dinners at my house and have people over and be hospitable. Like, I had a host family.
You did? You know? I was going to ask where you lived.
And they were just,
that's amazing.
They brought me in and treated me like their own, and I'm like, this is awesome. Like, I want to do this for other people in some way, shape, or form. So that I have definitely carried with me and want to continue to keep carrying.
You're so fortunate that you had that experience and that you were able to really live in the culture and not be like a participant from the sidelines, you know? And I think there's such a difference. I've also been really fortunate and have traveled a lot and have been able to live abroad a few different times. And there is a massive difference. You know, I lived in Israel, and I've lived in Greece, and I've lived in Spain, and I lived in very different situations in all three times. And the time where I lived in someone's home and was really immersed in the culture, the language, the food, the everything, felt truly like I lived. I was there, I was in it, I was part of the culture. It was so different, and to this day, that's the culture where I feel the most at home. And so I think it really can seep in and get under, you know, your skin, and really where you feel just it becomes a part of you.
Absolutely. I feel like that was why it was so hard to leave. I'm just like, I feel like I actually made a home here while I was here. I wasn't just visiting. So
no, for sure. That's the thing. It's like you're no longer a visitor. You're really, it becomes another home. So, okay, so you were there for 3 months.
Yes.
And then you came back here.
Yes.
And then what happened when you came back here?
So when I came back, I was like, okay, I still kind of want to play softball.
Still was in your system. Wasn't out of your system yet.
It wasn't out of my system yet. And I was like, do I want to go overseas again? Excuse me.
No, that's okay.
Do I want to play here in the States? I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. And so then a team popped up coming out of Southern California called California Commotion. So I was like, this is perfect. Like, I'm going to try out. Tried out, made the team. I was so stoked. Like,
congratulations,
to play
amazing.
Professional softball in the U.S. is
it's incredible.
Like, not many people get to do that. Unfortunately, COVID hit like right after I made the team, so I was
damn pandemic. You know, it just really.
I know it stole a lot of things from many people.
It did.
Yeah. So,
but you can still say that you signed with the team that they wanted. Yeah. Okay. So sorry I interrupted you.
Oh no, you're good. Yeah. So that season didn't end up happening. So that was in 2020. So I'm still waiting, still trying to see what's going on. And then a new league popped up called Athletes Unlimited. And that was being held in Chicago. And it was very short. It was 6 weeks long. But they had a good amount of financial backing to it. They had a new system for it. It was kind of like a fantasy league a little bit.
Oh, that's cool.
The teams switch every week. The talent is like top tier. And I was like, okay, I'm going to go for it and try to be a part of this.
Okay.
So I end up making it into Athletes Unlimited and go out there. I believe that was in September of 2020.
Oh, wow.
They ended up being able to make the league run smoothly, even through COVID.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it was.
Did they quarantine you?
They did. So we weren't allowed to really go anywhere other than our hotel and the field, which was very difficult.
Yeah.
I like to go explore.
Yeah.
You know?
And you're in a new city and it's Chicago.
Exactly. I'm like, Chicago's so close. Yeah, I've never been to Chicago before, so that was a bummer, but the girls were fantastic. Like, I loved getting to spend time with them, meeting them. And yeah, they just did an amazing job of making the league actually happen during COVID. Like, it was very smooth for, you know, just it being an unprecedented time.
Yeah.
So.
And to have that experience in that window, how fortunate, right? To be able to do something that you loved.
Absolutely.
To really keep, you know, to keep the momentum up for you in your sports and for your own physicality, but also just for your mental health and well-being, right?
Yeah,
to like know that you had that you were doing something that you loved.
Right.
So, okay, so how long did you play there? That was 6 weeks?
That was 6 weeks. So it ended right October 1st, right in the beginning of October.
Okay.
And so after that, I was like, okay, now what am I going to do, you know?
It's this perpetual question of what am I going to do next, right?
Yeah, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
And I think, you know, with softball, it can just be kind of difficult because it is a growing sport still in the professional realm. In college, people love watching the World Series, but professional, the leagues are still growing and the opportunities are still kind of becoming big. So I was like, I don't know if I can wait another year to try out again for Athletes Unlimited.
Okay.
I don't know if I want to go overseas again and do my whole life over. I had a boyfriend at the time, my now husband.
Yes, we're going to get to him in a minute.
Yes, I was like, I don't know, I'm juggling all these things. And I just kind of felt like at that point, would I choose to play softball because it just felt like that's what I always did? Or was it because it's what I actually wanted to do?
So it was like almost like an identity.
Yeah.
I don't want to say crisis, but you were dealing with like an identity.
You can call it an identity crisis.
Okay, so a little bit of an identity crisis.
Yeah.
But you know what, I love that you can even say that and admit that because I think it's, you know, in my other world where I do mental health coaching with teenagers and young adults,
that's awesome.
There is so much of that, especially for kids and teens and young adults who grow up doing something that is truly their identity, like a sport.
Yeah.
Right? And you are someone who not only did it when you were younger, not only did a club team, but then you went to college and then you played professional. It is so much a part of who you are.
Right.
And that question that you just said, it's so interesting, right? Do I love it and do I want to keep doing it because it's what I know and it's like, it's all I know? Or is it because I truly love it and want to keep doing it?
Right.
And there's like a passion that continues into the future. And I do think that something that people struggle with is, when do you let something go and be okay with letting it go?
Yeah.
And know that just because you let it go, it's not gone. It's still a part of your identity, but as human beings, we're always growing and always evolving.
Yeah.
So, okay, so what happened when you were going through that? What answer did you come up with for yourself?
Yeah, I ended up just coming up with, I'm gonna let this go. You know, I truly do feel like I might choose it just because I feel like it's what I have to do, but I also felt, I felt God kind of telling me, like, you need to trust me and you can go off into a new endeavor in life and still apply what you've learned, but there's something new for you, you know? And so I was like, okay, you know, I'm gonna take this leap. I didn't really ever want to coach softball either, so I never had that passion. And I'm like, I think I need to just step away and go into the unknown, you know, for probably one of the first times in my life, at least in a while, step into something I wasn't sure of doing. So I just got a job. I got a part-time job at a chiropractic office.
My dad was a chiropractor.
Oh, really? Oh my gosh, chiropractic is amazing.
It's amazing, right? I love it. Okay.
Yeah. So got a job at a chiropractic office, was doing that. Then me and my husband got engaged. So just stayed there through the engagement. He lives in Columbus, Ohio, so once we got married, I moved out there. And then life just kind of took off into even more unknowns.
Lots of unknowns. Yeah. So so I want to just backtrack for on two things. One, you said that you got to a place where you knew, and you said that you were kind of being guided by your faith, that you could take what you had learned and go off into something new in the unknown. And I love that, because I think that we so often think we have to leave something in the past in order to move forward. Yeah. And it's really, I genuinely believe that it's about taking what we've learned, growing from that, and taking that into the future with us, so that whatever we do next, we take the lessons that we've learned and can be even bigger, better, smarter, right, in how we approach the next thing. So I love that you were able to understand that and take that with you. And even though you have a lot of the unknown in front of you, I'm curious, what do you feel you took from that part of your life and from playing softball and being the collegiate and the professional player? What do you feel you took from that you are now able to apply to this next stage in your life?
It's such a good question. Yeah, when I was playing, so I kind of compare like where I'm at right now, the unknowns, and just kind of figuring things out to my freshman year.
Oh, I love that.
So I'm like, you're just in your freshman year season again, like just in a freshman season. When I went into college, you come from high school, you're the best. Everyone's the best in high school. And then you get to college and you're like, okay,
you go from being like the big fish in the little sea to the little fish in the big sea, and it happens like that, right?
Exactly. So I was like, man,
it's an ego shift.
It is. It's very humbling.
It's very humbling,
good.
which is totally good. I agree. I think that it's really good to have things that are humbling for us. Yeah.
And there's just decisions I had to make for the first time in my life in my freshman year. Just powering through, persevering, having to believe in myself. I think a lot when I grew up was I relied a lot on what my coaches were telling me, what my parents were telling me. You're good at this, you can do this. But my freshman year of college, for the first time I had to look in the mirror and be like, the only way you're going to get through this is if you can tell yourself and believe
in yourself.
You're going to be able to get through this. You can do this.
Love that.
And so now, after being done with softball, I'm kind of in this new realm of life, trying to figure things out, and I'm like, this is just like your freshman year. You have to be able to look in the mirror and tell yourself, you've got this, you're going to figure this out. If you did it back then, you can do it now. It's really not that different. So that's kind of what I
If you did it then, you can do it now.
Yes.
Yeah, that's amazing. I love that. Okay, so when did you meet your now husband, Godwin? When did you meet him?
Him in 2019, in June.
How did you meet him?
So we were both a part of a college ministry called Athletes in Action. Okay. So it's just for collegiate athletes, faith-based organization. Okay. And it's throughout the country. It's a big organization, and they hold a big camp every year. Okay. And so this one was in Long Beach. Okay. And I had come back as a counselor. The previous year I was a camper, and then he was just coming back as an alumni. He had
just to like hang out and like say hi and be like the star.
Yeah, I know. Which I totally felt like he was a little bit.
Did you? Were you fangirling a little bit?
No, I actually was like totally trying to like play it cool. Like he had said, like he got up in front of the group and said like what team he played for. At that time it was Philly, and so like I totally knew. But when he came up like later, I was like, what team do you play for? Like I totally was trying to act like I didn't care.
I love that.
But he was super down to earth and sweet. So we met there. We actually really didn't talk that much at the camp, just kind of passing conversations, but he ended up getting my number somehow, and we would FaceTime here and there, and then it got more frequent, and then he came down to visit some friends in LA, and so we hung out then I think that was in December of 2019. And at that point I was like, oh, I think I kind of like this person. I don't know. And then we got together in March of 2020, like right when the pandemic hit.
Yeah, right when the pandemic. What was it like being a girlfriend of a professional athlete?
It didn't really feel like anything, to be honest. I mean, at the point where we started dating, he was playing in the XFL, and the XFL got shut down. So he was out of the league for almost a whole year when we were together, and I was really blessed to be a part of his life at that time, because he was just so full of faith and believing in God's promise for his life, that he was going to get back into the NFL.
Okay.
And so to see him in that season of life, having that faith and that obedience and continuing to push through, I think said more to me than if he were
Right. It
in
didn't
the
matter
NFL,
what he did.
playing, doing amazing. Like seeing him in the hard time really like told me like, man, this is the man that I want to be with. So we really just went through that journey together, and being able to like go back into the NFL together and stay in the NFL together has been an amazing journey. And yeah, it just, NFL players are people, you know.
Yeah,
we
right.
see them on TV and we think like,
I love that. And can we put that quote up? NFL players are people.
Yeah.
Do we have a clip that we're going to show? Okay, we have a clip that we're going to show from his interview, I think, with Sophia.
How did they sign you from defense to offense? Did you send them video footage or how'd that work?
Listen. It's crazy. I don't know. I still don't know, but I'm gonna tell you what I think I know. It's a special teams drill. Offense goes to defense, defense goes to offense. And so I get the rock in my hand and I'm breaking dudes off. We're doing a little drill. Dude's coming over there. I'm over there.
Say change direction.
Oh, do that again. Do it again. There it is. My offensive coordinator, Anthony Lynn, he's like, "Did you ever play running back?" A couple days later, Coach Dan Campbell, who's the head coach at the time, the Lions still is, he's like, Godwin, what if we gave you some reps at running back during the fall camp? And I'm like, oh yeah, whatever, coach. About 2 weeks before fall camp starts, I get a call from Coach Campbell. I answer the phone, he's like, how would you feel if we moved you to running back? I said, oh, little did you know, a year prior, the Lord had whispered that into my spirit. I'm still in awe. It still don't make sense to me at the end of the day, but I said yes.
And he's calling it through the headset of his quarterback, Goff. Igwe slips through. Putting moves on, and he's going to go all the way in for a Lions touchdown. Godwin, Igwe, oh my goodness.
Those are miracles, a million little miracles.
Never thought I would have a football clip on my show. Really?
There's a first for everything. There's a first for everything.
Never thought I'd have a football clip on my show. But yeah, it's funny because I feel like you both actually have this attitude of whatever happens, we're going to do it. Mm-hmm. Like we can do it. Like we are just like, it's going to come down the pipeline at us and we're going to do it together. We're going to do it independently. We're going to do it together. We're going to support each other. Like I felt that yesterday, like the energy between the two of you. And I feel it even just like with you talking about him and just the way you watch him and vice versa, And so, that's really like a beautiful, lovely thing. And so now you guys are newlyweds.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
How's that going?
It's going well.
Yeah, good.
It'll be a year on April 2nd. So I'm like, when does the newlywed?
You could be newlywed for like the first 3-4 years.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm like,
just keep telling people.
It goes longer than I originally thought.
Get the perks. Just be like, we just got married.
Yes. It's been so good though.
Yeah.
We did long distance for 2 years and
that's hard.
That was really difficult.
Yeah.
We made it work, but yeah, it was nice to just finally, like once we got married, just be together, be able to go through life and work as a team even more than we were before. So yeah, it's been awesome. It's been a good ride.
That's great. So when did you move out to Columbus?
I moved out to Columbus right after we got married.
Okay.
So in April.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you liking it?
I actually really do like it. Yeah. I think people out there, especially when I tell them I'm from California, they're like, what are you doing out here? I'm like, I fell in love with somebody from the Midwest. But I actually really do enjoy Columbus because it's got that city feel, but it's still a little bit slower and just a little more chill.
Yeah, the Midwest is great.
Yeah.
I have to say, like, I love the Midwest. I love the cities. I love the suburbs.
Yeah.
The people are so friendly.
They are. Yeah.
There's a different vibe, I feel like. And of course, right, like anywhere you go, like there's a different vibe in New York and Florida and the Pacific Northwest area. But but there's something about the Midwest, especially like, you know, the Columbus area or the Chicago area, you know, these like cities, I think there's some really great, it's a fun place to be. Did you see yourself moving back here? Have you and Godwin talked about it?
Probably not anytime soon, but my dream is to have like a vacation home in San Diego.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Absolutely love that.
Are your parents here in LA still?
They're in Moreno Valley, Riverside area. So they're out there. My sister lives out there too with her kids.
So do you miss your family?
I do, yeah. So I'm usually not really tied to places, locations. Like I can just be anywhere and be fine. But my family, I'm like, oof, I do miss them. So I did just get to see them last month for my birthday, which was great. My parents came out for the marathon and we're at the finish line. So
awesome.
I take those, you know, even those small moments just can last me a really long time. And they came out to visit Columbus actually in October. So that was a lot of fun. They loved it.
Did they?
They absolutely loved it. It was fall time, so the fall in the Midwest is like
beautiful.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so the LA Marathon. Was just a couple days ago. You woke up one day and said, I want to do this. Now, granted, you are an athlete. Like you clearly like have an affinity towards athleticism. I do not. I am never going to wake up and say, I want to run a marathon.
Though you could. It could happen.
Okay, so let's talk about this. So what made you wake up and decide you wanted to do this, and what was the process?
I don't know if I ever woke up and was just like,
or like when you decided.
But when I decided, so I started long distance running during COVID. I never would have ever thought I would do long distance running, like just not for me.
So what made you even decide to get into it at that point?
I think it was just a desire to be outside and have an excuse, because like
that actually makes complete sense to me.
Yeah, because the only way people were outside during COVID was on a walk or something. So I just would go on these runs, and I had the Nike Run app. The Run Club app, and so I would track my runs, and they had these things like weekly goals, monthly goals, and I'm a goal person. So I was like, oh, I ran 2 miles last week. Let me see if I can run 3. Let me see if I can run 4. And I just kept going up and up, and then I was like, I actually really like this. You know, it's very therapeutic. It's not as like hardcore competitive like as softball is, you know. I'm not competing against somebody. It's just kind of me, and I can kind of make it as competitive as I want it to, or not make it competitive at all. And so it was nice just kind of getting to have that outlet. And so then I kept running, and me and one of my friends that I met out in Ohio through Godwin, we actually decided like maybe we should train for a half marathon together. Like we'll just run it virtually with each other. It doesn't need to be a big race, because they weren't having races at the time. So we did that, and in May 2021 I ran.
Virtual?
It was like virtual. We literally just came up with a training plan, and she sent it to me, and we ran the weeks together, and then on one day we both just ran it. She ran in Ohio, I ran it at a park in my hometown, and so ran a half marathon. And at that point I was like, I want to run a marathon at some point in my life, because this was a lot of fun. Yeah.
Okay, and then when was the half marathon?
That was May 2021. So that was almost 2 years ago.
Okay, so at that point, did you say I have a goal at that point of doing the LA Marathon, or did that come later?
Yeah, I did want to run the LA Marathon. That was my goal. And I almost wanted to do it in 2022, but life was just too crazy at that point.
Well, you were like getting married, so you know, little things like that.
Yeah, just, you know, minor stuff. So I was like, I'll run it, you know, either at the end of 2022, or I'll run a marathon at the end of 2022, or I'll run the LA in 2023. And it just kind of lined up perfectly to run the LA Marathon, which this is the city I grew up loving. So I was like, if I can run the LA, I'm going to do it.
Yeah. So what was it like training for it?
It was a lot of fun. It was very challenging because, I mean, it's like 4 months of training. And at that point, Godwin was in Seattle. So we're in Seattle, but I'm traveling back and forth to Columbus to do work things out there. So I'm having to be very strategic and disciplined about, you know, running on certain days and finding a place to run. It might be raining in Seattle because it's always raining in Seattle.
Yeah,
so
we shouldn't really complain here, right?
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, so it was a lot of strategy that came into it, but I loved it because it just kind of helps keep me on my toes and kind of get creative a little bit too. Like you kind of just have to figure things out sometimes. Sometimes I'm a little strictly structured, so it helps me be a little more flexible and
okay. That's actually so interesting. I would almost think it would be the opposite, but I can see for you how it would play out that way. So did you run every day?
I ran about 5 days a week.
Okay.
Probably like 4 to 5 days a week.
And you just would build on whatever you had run like the previous day? You would just try to push yourself a little bit more?
Yeah, so there's a long run that you run each week, either Saturday or Sunday.
Okay.
And you either add like 1 or 2 miles each week, and it just kind of keeps building up. And
wow.
Yeah, it's crazy how like you can go from your 6 mile run being really difficult to like 4 weeks later, you're running like a 12-mile run, and 6 miles is like super easy for you. You're like, how did I get here?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, did you have those moments like, I can't believe I'm doing this, and how am I doing this? Or the whole time were you just like focused straight ahead and not even having those thoughts?
Oh no, there were definitely like, I don't know how this is happening right now. Like, I don't know how I'm doing this. The body is amazing. The lengths that you can take it to.
Yeah.
It's just like very encouraging to experience it, even though it's hard and you're sore, but yeah, you're just like, I never thought I could do this. This is crazy.
Yeah. And do you have to qualify for the LA Marathon? Do you have to do something to qualify for it, or can anyone sign up to do it?
Anyone can sign up to do the LA. I think for the more prestigious races like Boston Marathon, you have to qualify, which I went into wanting to run my marathon like, I'm going to qualify for Boston. And I started training. I was like, I am not qualifying for Boston. not yet,
yet.
Not yet. Yeah, I think I was a little in over my head.
No, you just don't. I don't even know that it's that. I think it's that until you start, you don't know what you're doing.
Right. Exactly.
And so you have to like gain a little bit of experience.
Right.
And I think it's great to have goals, but sometimes we have goals and we're like, oh, that was actually a goal that wasn't realistic. Right. And then you just have to reassess.
Yeah, exactly.
So now that you did the LA Marathon, which is incredible, do you have the goal to do something that's even more prestigious like the Boston Marathon?
I think eventually, I think I would like to start out with just beating my time for this last marathon.
I love it. Manageable goals and expectations.
Exactly.
Love that.
And that's really all it comes down to. It's not necessarily, I need to run this time to make the Boston, like it's I need to run my best time.
Better for you. Absolutely.
Exactly. And if I run my best time, that will come, you know, so maybe that will be down the line, but I think I need to shift my goal more to like just challenging myself, like wanting to run it just a little bit faster each time, see how that, see where that gets me.
You know what I love about that? You're setting yourself up with realistic expectations, which means you will succeed and you will go way beyond them.
Yeah.
No, I genuinely believe that. I think that so often we unfortunately set ourselves up for unrealistic expectations, and then sometimes we fail, right? But when we set ourselves up for realistic expectations, not only do we meet them, but we supersede and we go way beyond, and we tend to keep going and pushing ourselves because we're constantly seeing that we're able to meet those expectations.
Yeah.
So are you planning on running any other marathons in the near future, or are you going to kind of put it on ice and for a little bit?
I think originally my goal for this year was to run 2 marathons.
Okay.
LA Marathon in the spring and then Columbus Marathon in the fall.
Okay.
But I was like, how about I run my first marathon before I tell myself that? So I think as of right now, I'm kind of like, I might be okay with just running this marathon for the year. With football.
It's a lot.
And we're opening a business out in Columbus, and there's just a lot going on. So I'm like, maybe I'll put this on ice for a second
for a split,
just kind of see how the year goes.
So do you travel with Godwin to Seattle when he's there?
Yes. Once he's out there, I'll be there usually like 3 weeks out of the month, and then the 4th week I'm in Columbus.
Okay. What is that like for you, traveling back and forth and doing that?
It's
doing the whole NFL player's wife thing.
Yeah.
Even though NFL players are just people, as we've learned. It's still a different lifestyle.
It is absolutely a different
you know,
lifestyle. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I don't really mind the travel. Sometimes it's tiring, but again, like, it's not too big of a deal. I think the hardest thing is just being away from Godwin for a week.
Yeah.
That sucks, for lack of better words.
Yeah, no, totally.
Yeah, so that's probably the hardest aspect of it, is just being away from him. But I'm still with him majority of the time, so I just try to tell myself that.
Yeah. And then you got like a little break. Sometimes it makes, absence makes the heart grow fonder. It can be, you can look at it as like, this is your time to focus on yourself, and then you get to go and like be together again.
Right.
In some ways it's actually like, it's in some ways, and I know that this doesn't sound, because you guys are newlyweds, but in some ways it's actually a great setup, because you get to be with him and you guys get to be together and you get to be a couple, but you also get to have time for yourself.
Right. Yeah.
And I do genuinely believe that when you do have time for yourself, then you actually appreciate that person that much more, hopefully, right?
Yeah.
So that when you come back together, you really enjoy each other and appreciate each other and are grateful for each other, and can show that to each other.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what are you most excited about for the future?
Man, I'm most excited for opening our business out in
So what is the
Columbus.
business?
It is a behavioral health business.
Really?
Yes. So we will be doing therapy, case management for people struggling with substance abuse.
Wow. How did you get into this?
So we have some friends out in Columbus who are kind of a few steps ahead of us that opened a behavioral health business. And just kind of felt like after we had a conversation with them, our heart was kind of on fire for it, and we started meeting people throughout the city, just coincidentally,
the universe was conspiring for you to do this.
Yeah, we're meeting therapists and all sorts of people that were involved with just recovery. So we got into that, and now we're right in the midst of basically opening it. We'll probably open our office in the summer.
Wow.
In a few months.
Wow.
So
congratulations.
Thank you.
That's really exciting.
Thank you.
It's exciting to open a business.
It is.
And a little scary sometimes.
It definitely is. When I talked about that freshman season, I'm feeling like it's happening every day.
Yeah, but you know what? That's great, because stretching and growing your brain and your abilities, and doing it with people that you believe in and care about. And, and I also genuinely believe that when you do something that you are truly passionate about, you will succeed. And even if you don't succeed the first day, you keep pushing because you love it and you are passionate about it.
Yes.
And eventually you succeed. You do.
Thank you.
Ari, much luck, success,
Thank you so
love,
much.
good health to you. I love having you on the show.
Thank you so much
for
for
sharing
having
your
me.
story. Congratulations again on the LA Marathon and on your new business. And let's stay in touch.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
the show. Okay, and that was that's the show today. So thank you so much for being here. Next week we will do a financial segment. We'll do update on the dating project, everything else. But friends, wherever you go, whatever you do, I always hope you're living your best life 2.0. Have a great day. See you soon.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
That was great. You're awesome.
Thank you.
So what is the business called?
It's called A Good Deed.
I love that. Now, is it faith-based or is it non-denominational?
I'd say it's not really like faith-based.
Okay.
I mean, we'll probably incorporate some of that, but some organizations are like actually faith-based. We'll incorporate that, but yeah, we're just a for-profit behavioral